Hi everyone, welcome, Shelter Monkey here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Purvis Blades Xerx. First of all, I want to say that I purchased this knife with my own funds and I have no affiliation with the designer or manufacturer. Purvis, if you're not aware, stands for Adam Purvis, who is the designer of the knife. So we have here a titanium frame lock flipper. We have a blade length as measured from the tip of the blade to the forwardmost portion of the handle scale of 3.50 inches or 89 millimeters. The blade stock measures just a tad under 4.00 millimeters, and the blade steel is CPM 20 CV. This particular variant of the knife has the so-called satin blade finish. It's sort of a cloudy finish. To me, it looks like it was media blasted with a very fine powder instead of larger beads. I do not like media blasted finishes for two reasons. The first reason is that it tends to promote corrosion on the blade because of the pockmarked surface finish that media blasting leaves behind. And the second reason is that if you need to polish the blade with metal polish, like to get out corrosion that's on the blade, you end up with just a splotchy finish overall, because if you try to hand polish over a media blasted finish, it's just not possible to get an even finish. The handle itself is titanium, and it has a diagonal pattern of micro grooves on it, which is very nice. The handle thickness is measured this way, is 0.54 inches or 13.8 millimeters. The handles are slightly contoured. We have a titanium backspacer, and all the hardware is titanium too, with Torx T8 heads on them. And also we have a purple pivot surround. The weight as measured on my postal scale is 4.2 ounces or 118 grams. Okay, my overall impressions of this knife. Well, the biggest impression is that the ergonomics of this guy are just absolutely superb. I think Adam really hit it out of the park in the ergonomics department. As for other issues, in terms of execution, I would classify the detent as kind of weak to medium. It's super easy to fail the detent. So the detent's definitely on the light side. The acoustics of the knife, when it locks open, are just so-so. There's nothing special about the acoustics, so that's a bit disappointing. As for the pocket clip, we have a machined titanium pocket clip. Overall, it works pretty well. It's stiff enough and there's enough pocket retention. There's two issues with the clip, though, that I'd like to point out. One is that there is no flat area on the bottom of the nub. It just comes to a point with both the front face and the rear face of the pocket clip being angled down into a point. So this configuration tends to promote unnecessary pocket wear. So it'd be nicer if there was a flat area on the bottom of the nub there. The second issue is that the lock bar cutaway being on the outside of the knife and very near to the pocket clip nub, it has actually trapped the knife, the fabric of my pocket in here a couple times. It's kind of hard to duplicate. It's only happened a few times, but that's a little bit disconcerting. So it'd be nice if they moved the lock bar cutaway to the interior of the handle, or if they went with a liner lock or bolster lock version of this knife. But overall, the pocket clip retains the knife in the pocket and it works pretty well. So now I'd like to bring in a couple other knives for comparison. One budget knife I'd like to bring in is the Kershaw Link. And I think this is kind of an interesting comparison because the Link kind of has this upswept blade also, as does the Xerx. And they both have curved handles. Both knives have excellent ergonomics. The Xerx has a slightly longer blade that's about 0.25 an inch longer. And both have very good ergonomics. I'd rate the ergonomics on the Xerx as being superior though, because you have more handle room and it just feels better than the handle on the Link, even though the Link is pretty good. The second knife I'd like to bring in for comparison is the Tuya Knives Envy Model 1. Again, the Xerx has the longer blade at 3.5 inches, and this one is 3.25, so a 1/4 inch longer for the Xerx. The ergonomics of the Tuya Envy are pretty good, but it gets a little thin back here on the handle scales, and these, even though they're contoured, it feels a bit sharp when your hand presses into them. So I would rate the ergonomics on the Xerx quite a bit better. The ergonomics on this guy are just superb. Another knife I'd like to bring in is the Zero Tolerance 0452 carbon fiber. The 452 has really excellent ergonomics also. It's considerably longer, but even though it's considerably longer, it's quite compact in the pocket, so it carries quite well. One big difference between this and this is that this has quite a stiff detent, and when it opens, it goes thwack. So I really like the opening, the deployment on the 0452. Another knife I'd like to bring in is a knife from DH Gate from an unknown manufacturer. I paid $80 for this guy from DH Gate, and this guy has a dialed in detent too. When it opens, it goes thwack, so it almost feels like it has a kick when it opens. So I really love the detent on this guy, even though it's an $80 knife from DH Gate from some unknown manufacturer. So I think that about covers it for the Purvis Blades Xerx. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below. And also, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe and share. So thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye now.